We are talking about the symptomatic treatment of multiple sclerosis. That what is the symptomatic treatment for the multiple sclerotic patient? For the patient, it is useful to encourage the attention to a healthy lifestyle, including maintaining a healthy diet and regular exercise. We must inform the patient to adopt healthy healthy diet and regular exercise. Regular exercise. Swimming is often well tolerated because the cooling effect of the cold water. Swimming is well tolerated. Swimming is also well tolerated of the cold water. This is also useful. Oral intake of vitamin D we must do. With oral intake of vitamin D we must give to the patient with the multiple sclerosis. For the ataxia or tremor, it is often we give the clonazepam. For the tremor and ataxia, we must give the clonazepam. The dose of the clonazepam is 15 to 20 mg per day. 15 to 20 mg per day. We also give for ataxia the primidone. We can also give primidone for ataxia. Primidone for ataxia or tremor. The primidone dose is 50 to 250 mg per day. 50 to 250 mg per day. Primidone for ataxia and tremor. We must give the propranolol 40 to 200 mg per day for the tremor. Propranolol. This is beta blocker. 50 to 200 mg per day for the tremor. This is the choice. We can give the clonazepam. We can also give the primidone. We can also give the propranolol 50 to 200 mg per day. We can also give the ondansetron. Ondansetron for vomiting. Normally we give ondansetron. We can also give the ondansetron for tremors. We can also give for tremor and ataxia. Ondansetron. The ondansetron dosage is 6 to 16 mg per day. 6 to 16 mg per day ondansetron. We can also give these drugs. It may be helpful. Thymotomy and deep brain stimulation have been tried with mixed success. We can also do the thymotomy and deep brain stimulation. Thymotomy and deep brain stimulation. Deep brain stimulation can also be successful and useful in the ataxia. For spasticity and spasm. For the spasticity and spasm, which drug we can give in the cases of multiple sclerosis? The spasticity and spasm may improve with physical activity, regular exercise. They may improve with physical activity, including the regular exercise. The spasticity may improve because of regular exercise and regular activity. We must educate the patient to avoid of trigger factors, for example, infection, fecal infection, bed sores. We may also educate the patient to give the physical activity regularly and exercise regularly and avoid the bed rests. Avoid the bed rests. They may cause the bed sore and infection. The bed rests may cause the bed sore and infection. The effective medication for the spasticity include baclofen 20 to 120 mg per day. The medication for spasticity we give the baclofen baclofen. We can also give other drugs. We give the baclofen. The baclofen dosage is 20 to 120 mg per day. 20 to 120 mg per day of baclofen we can also give to reduce the spasticity of the patient. We can also give diazepam 2 to 40 mg per day. We can also give the diazepam 2 to 40 mg per day to reduce the spasticity. The diazepam can also be given. Tizanidine can also be given. The dosage is 8 to 32 mg per day. Tenazidine 8 to 32 mg per day can also be given for the spasticity. Tenazidine may work in the spasticity. This is the drug of choice to reduce the spasticity of the patient. The dantrolene we can also give. The dosage is 25 to 400 mg per day. Dantrolene we can also give to reduce the spasticity. The dosage is 25 to 400 mg per day. Dantrolene we can also give to reduce the spasticity of the patient. And cyclobenzaprine hydrochloride we can also give. Cyclobenzaprine hydrochloride we can also give the cyclobenzaprine hydrochloride 10 to 60 mg per day. 10 to 60 mg per day to reduce the spasticity of the patient in the multiple sclerosis. This is the drugs for the symptomatic treatment to reduce the spasticity of the patient. For severe spasticity, baclofen pump may be used. Baclofen pump is a delivery medication directly into the CSF. They can provide substantial relief. We can also advise the baclofen pump. We can also, for severe spasticity, we can also advise to the patient the baclofen pump, to take the baclofen pump. This baclofen pump directly send the baclofen into the CSF in the severe spasticity. For severe spasticity, the baclofen pump may be used. Baclofen pump may be used for the severe spasticity. And this produce a substantial relief of the spasticity. The weakness may be treated with medication. How we will treat and relieve the weakness in the cases of the multiple sclerosis? The weakness can sometimes be improved with the use of potassium channel blocker such as 4-aminopyridine. We use 4-aminopyridine. This is the pyridine. This is the potassium channel blocker we use for the weakness. The dosage is 20 mg per day. 4-aminopyridine dosage is 20 mg per day to reduce the weakness of the patient in multiple sclerosis. So this potassium channel blocker may be used, that is 4-aminopyridine. Particularly we use this in the lower extremity weakness that interfere with the patient's ability to ambulate. For the lower extremity weakness, lower extremity weakness. The lower extremity weakness, another drugs may be used, and this drug is called 3,4-diaminopyridine. 3,4-diaminopyridine. But the dosage of the 3,4-diaminopyridine is 40 to 80 mg per day. 40, this dosage is high, 40 to 80 mg per day. This is the symptom relief of weakness in multiple sclerosis. This is the symptomatic treatment. Now we will discuss the pain management in the multiple sclerosis. Pain management. How will we manage the pain of multiple sclerosis? The pain is treated with anticonvulsant carbamazepine 100 to 1 gram per day. Carbamazepine 100 to 1 gram per day. We give carbamazepine to manage the pain of the patient. We can also give phenytoin 300 to 600 mg per day. We can also give phenytoin 300 mg to 600 mg per day. Phenytoin can also be given for the pain management. Gabapentin can also work. The gabapentin dosage is 300 to 3600 mg per day. Gabapentin can also work in the pain. Gabapentin 300 to 3600 mg per day may be given to control the pain in the multiple sclerosis. The antidepressant amitriptyline 25 to 150 mg can also be given, and nortriptyline can also be given. Amitriptyline can also be given. Amitriptyline and amitriptyline can also be given. The amitriptyline dosage is 25 to 150 mg. 25 to 150 mg amitriptyline. 150 mg. 25 to 150 mg amitriptyline can also be given. This is also the drug of choice for the pain. And noramitriptyline can also be given. The noramitriptyline dosage is 25 to 150 mg per day. 25 to 150 mg per day. This is the management of the pain in the cases of multiple sclerosis. That how multiple sclerosis pain can be managed. The multiple sclerosis pain can be managed by the anticonvulsant like phenytoin and the antidepressant like amitriptyline, nortriptyline. Carbamazepine can also work. Carbamazepine is an anticonvulsant drug. Desperamine is antidepressant. This can also work. The dosage is 100 to 300 mg per day. Desperamine can also work in the pain. The dosage of the desperamine is 100 to 300 mg per day. 100 to 300 mg per day. This can be worked in the pain management of the multiple sclerosis. The venlafaxine, venlafaxine can also work in the pain management. Venlafaxine can also work in the management of pain. This is the dosage is 75 to 225 mg per day. 75 to 225 mg per day. Venlafaxine can also be given in the pain management in the multiple sclerosis. We can also give the antiarrhythmic in the pain management. Antiarrhythmic in severe cases. Antiarrhythmic can also be given in the severe cases of the pain of multiple sclerosis. The antiarrhythmic include mexiletine. The dosage is 300 to 900 mg. 300 to 900 mg per day can also be given for the severe pain. If these approaches fail, patient should be referred to a comprehensive pain management program. If these procedure and these drug fail, the patient should be referred to comprehensive pain management program. Pain management program. The pain management program is another lecture. We will do the pain management lecture in other videos. How will we manage the bladder dysfunction in cases of multiple sclerosis? The bladder dysfunction management is best guided by the urodynamic testing. Even in fluid restriction or frequent voluntary voiding may help the detrusor hyperreflexia. There is fluid restriction. We educate the patient to fluid restriction and voiding. This is help in the bladder dysfunction. And there is detrusor hyperreflexia occur due to this management. Detrusor hyperreflexia occur. This helps in the detrusor hyperreflexia when fluid restriction and voiding of urine. The other treatment for the bladder dysfunction include propanthyline bromide 10 to 15 mg per day. Propanthyline bromide may also be given if this management fails, that fluid restriction and voiding, voluntary voiding of urine. If this fails, we give the propanthyline bromide. The propanthyline bromide dosage is 10 to 15 mg per day. 10 to 15 mg per day. Now we'll discuss the other management of the bladder dysfunction. We can also give the procanthiolene bromide 10 to 15 mg per day, or we can also give the oxybutynine 5 to 15 mg per day. Oxybutynine, we can also give the oxybutynine. The oxybutynine dosage include 5 to 15 mg per day. 5 to 15 mg per day. Oxybutynine can also work in the bladder dysfunction in the cases of multiple sclerosis. We can also give hyoscyamin sulfate. Hyoscyamin sulfate. Hyoscyamin sulfate can also work in the bladder dysfunction in the cases of multiple sclerosis. The hyoscyamin sulfate dosage is 0.5 to 0.35 mg per day. 0.5, this is a small dosage, to 0.73 mg or 75 mg per day. We can also give the hyoscyamin sulfate. The tolterodine tetrate may also be given 2 to 4 mg per day. Tolterodine tetrate. Tolterodine tetrate can also be given in cases of the bladder dysfunction. This is the symptomatic treatment of the multiple sclerosis. The tolterodine tetrate dosage is 2 to 4 mg per day. 2 to 4 mg per day. 2 to 4 mg per day. Tolterodine. We can also give sulfasalazine. We can also give the sulfasalazine 5 to 10 mg per day. Sulfasalazine 5 to 10 mg per day to the patient of the multiple sclerosis with bladder dysfunction. The co-administration of pseudoephedrine is sometimes beneficial. The co-administration, there is co-administration of pseudoephedrine is sometimes beneficial. Pseudoephedrine normally we use in the cough, but the co-administration of pseudoephedrine is useful. The dosage of the pseudoephedrine is 30 to 60 mg. 30 to 60 mg. Co-administration of pseudoephedrine is sometimes beneficial in the patient of bladder dysfunction due to multiple sclerosis. How we will manage the detrosal muscle or sphincter dysnergia. Sphincter muscle dysnergia. Sphincter muscle of bladder dysnergia. How we will manage the dysnergia of the detrosal and sphincter muscle of the bladder in the patient with multiple sclerosis. This dysnergia may respond to phenoxybenzamine. This may respond to phenoxybenzamine. Phenoxybenzamine. The dosage of the phenoxybenzamine in this case is 10 to 20 mg per day. 10 to 20 mg per day. Phenoxybenzamine may reduce the symptom of sphincter dysnergia. We can also give the terazosin hydrochloride. Terazosin hydrochloride may also help. Terazosin hydrochloride may also help for the sphincter dysnergia. The terazosin hydrochloride dosage is 1 to 20 mg per day. 1 to 20 mg per day. Terazosin hydrochloride 1 to 20 mg per day. The loss of reflex of the bladder wall occur. There is contraction may respond to beta-nicole. If there is loss of bladder wall contraction, this may respond to beta-nicole. Loss of bladder wall contraction, this may respond to beta-nicole. Beta-nicole. The dosage of beta-nicole is 30 to 150 mg per day. 30 to 150 mg per day of beta-nicole. When there is loss of bladder wall contraction occur, beta-nicole we use. However, the detrosals or sphincter dysnergia require catheterization. This, however, mainly require catheterization. Catheterization is best. But long-term catheterization can cause the infection. The long-term catheterization can cause the infection. But what we do, the catheterization of the patient. Now, how will we treat the urinary tract infection in cases of the multiple sclerosis? UTI, urinary tract infection. Urinary tract infection. How we will manage the urinary tract infection in cases of multiple sclerosis? The urinary tract infection should be treated in patient with residual urine volume greater than 200 ml are predisposed to infection. If the patient volume of urine, residual volume, if the residual volume of urine is greater than 200 mg, it's more susceptible to the infection, and the infection must be treated in cases of the multiple sclerosis. We do the prevention by urine acidification with cranberry juice or vitamin C. It inhibits some bacteria. We give this patient cranberry juice and vitamin C. This vitamin C and cranberry juice inhibit certain bacteria and certain bacterial infections. The prophylactic administrations of the antibiotic is sometimes necessary, but may lead to the colonization of resistant organisms. If we give the antibiotic, there is resistant type of bacteria may occur. Resistance to this antibiotic may occur. In the intermittent catheterization may help to prevent the recurrent infection and reduce the overflow incontinence. If we use the intermittent catheterization, not all time, intermittent catheterization